It's great to be here amongst all of these independent minds. As centrist independents, we are in a position to unite people, but we live in a time that is full of polarizing actions, where our representatives are yelling at each other. They're assaulting journalists. They're insulting our citizens. We can do better than that, okay? This is coming into our communities, into our homes, and into our kitchen tables. When you have to get up and leave the room at a family event because your uncle is hurling insults at you like my friend Amanda had to do at a Father's Day gathering, we know we're in a state of crisis. We need to think beyond ourselves. We need to get help, and if we're going to be successful, and bring people together. Teamwork. So the shark attack happens when you get off of the livestock cattle car, is what we called it, in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri in basic training. Drill sergeants are hurling insults, questions, and statements at you. They didn't care what your political party affiliation was, your race, your gender, who your parents were. And you know what? Neither did we. When we got back to our barracks, we had survived something together. And we got to connect on common ground, just like athletes do after surviving 2 days. So we sought to find more common ground and learn about each other. I don't remember, not once, any of my battle buddies or any of my teammates asking me my political party affiliation. Not once. Sorry, I get nervous. So if these athletes, and in my case, I was a 17-year-old can find common ground, and kids can find common ground. Look at these guys. Sports. Shaking hands before they're going to wrestle each other down to the mat and try to pin each other. We should be able to do this as adults. So as a forward was dribbling towards me, they had a breakaway, and I went down to stop the goal. I stopped it. They didn't get their goal in. But I took a cleat to the finger. Literally, as I'm standing there shaking it off, what's happened? I figured out I broke a finger, but that's okay, halftime wasn't far away. Taped them together and went back and finished the game. So the sacrifices we make as athletes are actually relatively small in comparison to the sacrifices that we make in the military. Our military leave their families behind. They might not come back. The sacrifices that we can make for team in the political spectrum are minor in comparison to the others. We need to put mission first. Short-term sacrifices are often needed in order to reach long-term goals, and placing our own special needs and special interest groups above those of the people is the same as placing yourself above your team. And in the end, that's how teams fall apart and everyone loses. Both of my sons are pole vaulters. One of them was a very good pole vaulter his senior year. And he was often breaking records and winning the meets. Pole vaulting is one of those sports that you can lose even if your opponent doesn't show up. If you fail to make your opening height, you don't win. Nobody wins. So, who's your opponent? Is it the vaulter on the other team? Or is it the bar? Is it yourself? So is it the other political party? Or is it the issue that we're facing? Know who your opponent is. Our opponent isn't the other representative. It isn't the other person across the aisle. It isn't the other political party. Our opponent are the issues that are facing us, that are hindering our ability to live our best lives. Don't get in that fight with the other representatives. That's not the fight. Know who your opponent is. This is my son in the middle. He ended up breaking records, like I said, in the second highest pole vault height in the South Dakota history. And all of these students, all these other kids, are from all the other schools. They all competed against each other for the same thing, and they came together in the end. Just like Owen said, can you have lunch with them afterwards? So know who your opponent is. building a deep bench. So one day in high school, my soccer team, decided that they needed to call a team meeting. And as we sat in a circle on the side of the field, the conversation quickly became an attack on one player. They were apparently too intense. After all, this was just practice. Why did they need to go so hard? Somebody was going to get hurt. They were making everybody else look bad. As I sat there, listening to these complaints and this attack, I didn't know what to think. I didn't know how to defend myself. How could I be getting insulted for working hard? That's all I knew how to do. You work hard. I'm a scrapper. That's how I get everything that I've ever had. So how do you combat that? How do you have that conversation? I just sat there. Then the coach who'd been listening off over on the side, she came in. She tore into my teammates. It was one of those times when somebody spoke up for me that I was just, sticks with you. And she said, it's not her fault. You need to dig deep. You need to accept that challenge. Challenges can come from within your team. Challenges can come from your constituents. They're going to come from fellow representatives. Accept those challenges, not as an insult, not as them thinking that you're not qualified or that you're stupid. Take those challenges as an opportunity to grow. What can you learn from that? So in our sports, as in the military, we have practice squads. Why do you think college football teams have over 100 people on their team? They have to have somebody to practice against. They have to beat somebody up as they get ready for the big game. In the military, we have opposition forces. Guess what? All of them go back to the same locker room, go back to the same bar to have a beer afterwards. Accept that as an opportunity to build a deep bench. The more we challenge each other and accept those challenges as an opportunity for growth, the deeper the bench is going to be. We're going to raise the bar of the type of representatives we are, the type of representatives we want, and the type of representatives that are going to follow us. We build a deeper bench, and we're not going to be left picking the less of two evils. We're going to have an entire squad of people that are putting the mission first, the people first. So, sports and the military, they bring communities together. In our town, the kids line up to welcome the college athletes onto the court. They perform at the halftime shows. All walks of life, everybody's there. Hundreds of people join in welcoming our service members back from deployment. Again, nobody cares about party affiliation. We're all there for a reason. Politics can unite us as well. This is people smiling in joy. They clap with each other. This was the inauguration of President Obama in an airport. Everybody came together. They were excited. Politics can bring each other together. And on a warm August night on a rooftop, people with a common goal came together to bring a movement and gain traction. Politics can unite people if we bring forth the elements of teamwork. After all, we all serve and fly and respect the same colors, basically wearing the same uniform.